Yo, what's good? What's good? We back. Triple P, Paul Pickett Podcast. This is episode 17. Before we get started, need y'all hit that subscribe button in that bottom right hand corner. If you're watching this on Facebook, hit that like on that Facebook fan page, and on Instagram TV, hit that follow. We're going to get into just a few things today. We're going to keep it short today. I'm going to get my sip. Don't forget, check out the podcast, the audio version on Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Slacker, and a bunch of other places. You can Google Paul Pickett Podcast. Um, First, let me get into MVP, NBA. Right now, man, I'd have to say Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is leading the MVP race. Definitely. It's a slight edge over LeBron because LeBron is having to carry these Laker team without AD. Joel Embiid, I mean, he's balling out. Game-winning shot the other day. He's dominant, can't be stopped. Um, I mean, him and Zion treated Rudy Gobert like a rag doll. He's supposed to be some, all-world defensive player, man. I mean, you might want to go back and look at the highlights of what Zion did to Rudy Gobert and what Joel Embiid did to Rudy Gobert. And that's going to, kind of lead into another one of my takes later. So just remember that. But yeah, I would say Joel Embiid right now is top of the MVP list. Then LeBron. Then I would have to say, let me think here. Who do I got there? I'm gonna have to say James Harden over Joker. I know people say like Joker's balling out and whatnot, but Joker, I mean, their team is like up and down, they're like, if I'm not mistaken, they're like fifth on the power rankings right now over the Lakers, and they're like the seventh or eighth seed. Come on, man. Yeah, that'd be my top three: Embiid, LeBron, and Harden, and I will put Chris Paul at number 4 at my MVP. And that could change because we got the second half of the season coming. But I have a feeling, I have a strong feeling Joel Embiid will end this season with the MVP award this year. I just have a strong feeling. I really do. So let me get into this next take. Where they had the All-Star draft with Team LeBron and Team Durant, and the Jazz were picked last on the NBA All-Star draft. Now, a lot of people were saying this was disrespectful. This is very disrespectful for the Jazz because they're number one in the Western Conference. I mean, we've seen this story over and over and over and over again, man. I mean, dudes ball out during the regular season, look like the favorite to win something, and they really aren't. They're really not the favorite to win nothing. You still got to prove it to me in the playoff time. I still got to see it playoff time until, David knocks off Goliath, and in this, scenario, LeBron is Goliath, and the Lakers are Goliath. Until they get knocked off, I'm not sold that the Jazz. I mean, we've seen this story. We see this with Denver last year. We see this all the time. Where dudes ball out in the regular season, but they still don't get over the hump. And I told y'all earlier, Rudy Gobert got manhandled by Embiid. He got manhandled by Zion, second-year player in the league. He couldn't do nothing with Zion. Zion was bulldozing through him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still not sold and convinced until playoff time comes. What happened to the Jazz last year? They got put out by the Nuggets. And if I'm not mistaken, they had a lead on the Nuggets. Yes, they had the lead, and the Nuggets came back and won the series. So come on, man. And then, like LeBron said, We ain't never played with Jazz. And I didn't play with Utah in the video games. I never played with. Nobody really want to be Stockton and Malone in the video game. You know, it really they wasn't sexy. They wasn't, they wasn't flashy. They was just pick and roll, 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 pick and roll. It was just nothing fancy, flashy, or sexy about it. So he's right, man. You know. And then at the same time, Kevin Durant, people like try to just act like LeBron was on it, just being disrespectful. Kevin Durant, his last pick was a Jazz player too. So apparently Kevin Durant doesn't believe, he's not sold, he's not convinced that they could get over the hump. Jazz make it to the NBA finals. Hey, I'll get on this podcast and apologize and say I was wrong. But until then, nah, man. They still got to do a playoff time, Slam dunk. Ah, man. Let me take a sip on this one real quick. Matter of fact, before I get into this, hit that subscribe button in that right-hand corner, bottom right-hand corner. If you're on Facebook, hit the like. Instagram, hit the follow. And any other platform, do the same. Hit the follow. Slam dunk. Man, this was the worst slam dunk contest I've ever seen in my entire life. It's enough that there's no star players in the slam dunk contest. Not one. There was not one star player or name that was like anybody of caliber, And then the dunks, man. I mean, the dunks were not that good. They were not that good. I mean, this was the worst ever. Like, if there was any time that LeBron James needed to just go ahead and do the dunk contest just to do it, this was it. This was it. This was just to do it, just to say he did it. I mean, because that could be like the one blemish on LeBron's career that like he never really did a dunk contest, not even once. I never got that. Never understood that. Like not even once. You didn't do the dunk contest not even once, man. I mean, come on, man. I never really understood that. This would have been the time, man. We just needed one guy in there, man. You need Zach LaVine in again and somebody, man. Somebody that was of some stature, The All-Star game. Did I watch the All-Star game? I watched the highlights. NBA is definitely finding ways to make things less intriguing. Very less intriguing. I do know that a 4-point, I do agree with Chris Broussard and but 4-point shots coming in the All-Star game. Like these half-court 3-pointers that they're taking and these long-range threes. Yeah, it's definitely coming to a point where 4-pointers will be coming into play. So let me keep back relaxed. 4-pointers will be coming into play. And I do think the further the game goes out, they might have to make a 4-point line or a 4-point spot for shots. And that could be exciting. Be down 3 points, hit a 4-pointer, and win the game. That could be exciting narrative, especially in a championship. But I just don't like the fact that it's all about, you got some teams that just all they do is shoot threes and shoot threes. We see what happened in Denver at the end of the game. The Clippers, this idea that the Clippers are going to win the championship and all they do is shoot threes. They don't score no points in the paint, man. You got to have some kind of balance, I would think. Yes, you want to have good shooters, but you also want to score in the paint. You want to, it's still more of a high percentage shot to score in the paint, to get a dunk, to get a layup, or a floater or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't like where the league's going with this 3-point thing. Just shooting further and further and further out because it's a copycat league. It's not a make or miss league. It's a copycat league. So these people are just going to copycat, copycat and copycat and copycat. So yeah, but yeah, I mean there was a few things in the All Star game that was exciting, but you could tell LeBron didn't want to be there. He checked out, clocked out early, but he was professional about it. He was very professional about the draft and just showing up, even though he voiced his opinion about not, having it in the NBA. The NBA is some hypocrites right now, man. Like, y'all gonna sit there and have an All-Star game knowing every time you have All-Star games that people have these parties at venues and clubs. You're having it in Atlanta because Atlanta is wide open. That's why you're doing it there. And then you try to send out these cease and desist orders and tell people don't have parties, this, that, and the third. Man, it's kind of hypocritical, man. When you're doing it at a spot that you can do it at because it's so wide open. I mean, come on, man. Let's not be hypocrites, man. If anything I hate in this world is a hypocrite, man. I don't really usually hate people at all, but I can't stand hypocrites, man. Can't stand them. Like look in the mirror in NBA. You know what I'm saying? So like LeBron, like when he was speaking, it's like he was 100% right because y'all look like some hypocrites right now sending out cease and desist orders for show promoters or whoever. That's how it's the name of the game, man. That's how the program works. You have an all-star game in the city. Show promoters have all-star shows. They do all-star events. They do it at the clubs and all these venues. They do these all-star after parties and all this. That's the name of the game. That's how it goes. It does anywhere in the entertainment world. Celebrities are coming to town, man. They're doing after parties, man. Come on, man. Where you been, man? And yeah, I understand we in COVID, but don't be a hypocrite about it. Y'all getting greedy. You getting greedy having an all-star game because you don't want to leave no money on the table, but you want show promoters to leave money on the table, man. Yo, get out of here with that hypocritical stuff, man. Matter of fact, we're done with NBA. We about to go to the last topic of the day. NFL. Oh man, y'all gotta excuse me, boy. I didn't get too much sleep last night, but I still gotta keep doing these podcasts and keep doing these vlogs. Hit that subscribe button in that right hand corner. Hit the like on Facebook, follow on Instagram, and follow on whatever place you're checking it out on. And don't forget you can Google Paul Pickett Podcast. Todd McShay mock draft. He's got like 5 quarterbacks in the top 10. Yeah, like NBA team. I mean, excuse me. Like I said, no sleep, and it's a little early. NFL teams, they give up on quarterbacks so quick. Like they don't. I understand the NFL. They go to college 2 or 3 years before they could go pro. I get that. NBA, they're one and done. You got to stay longer in the NFL. But at the same time, you're going from college to pro. And that transition could take time, even if you're seasoned. Look at a player like Danny Green, who was played 4 years in college for my team, the North Carolina Tar Heels. And it took about 4, 5, 6 years before he really got established in the pros and really found his way, because you're still young to the league. So, like, NFL teams is giving up on quarterbacks so quick, I think, because this idea that everybody could have, I understand y'all looking for y'all's franchise quarterback. Y'all looking for y'all's guy to have for next 5 or 10 years. But guess what? Even if every team in the NFL has their franchise quarterback, there's a lot of y'all still ain't going to make the playoffs every year. A lot of y'all still going to be at the bottom of the pack. because you still have to, because there's still always going to be worse rosters than others and better rosters than others. And everybody's still not always going to have a bunch of around their quarterback. Just because you got a franchise quarterback doesn't mean you don't got to have a lot of things around him. I mean, look at Patrick Mahomes. He has possibly the best wide receiver and possibly the best tight end in all of football. He has possibly the number one receiver and the number one tight end. You know, we talking about, like, look at Tom Brady had this year when he won. They had Antonio Brown. They had Rob Gronkowski. They had Mike Evans. They had Chris Godwin. They had tight ends galore. You know, they had Scotty Miller. I mean, they're stacked. They're stacked. So this idea that you ain't got to be stacked too. Look at Aaron Rodgers. He's got a really great running back and a really great receiver. And he possibly could have the best wide receiver in the league. And maybe the second best running back or third best running back. You know? So, this idea that all of y'all going to have this franchise Super Bowl quarterback all at once. Nah, man, only one team every year is winning the Super Bowl. And last back-to-back was Cowboys. Or Patriots, my bad. And then before that was the Cowboys. So, like, come on, man. This idea that, you just got to give up on quarterbacks. And I've seen a numerous amount of Super Bowls in my lifetime that had average or below average quarterbacks win Super Bowls. Trent Dilfer with the Ravens. Matter of fact, both of the Ravens Super Bowls were with average quarterbacks. Joe Flacco in the second one. Mark Rippon with the Redskins one year. Phil Simms with the Giants one year. I mean, you know what the Giants defense was like? And their running backs and their receivers? I mean, come on, man. Phil Simms was average. Tampa Bay's first championship before Brady with what's my man? Brad Edwards. Not Brad Edwards, but I don't even remember his name. It might even be Brad Edwards. I mean, it can happen. Philadelphia Eagles won their Super Bowl with an average quarterback, Nick Foles. I mean, so if you got a dominant defense, a dominant running game, and some good receivers, a game manager, or as some people call it, or average or below average quarterback can still win the Super Bowl, can still take you. Eli Manning, in my opinion, was an average quarterback. Average quarterback who won 2 Super Bowls. Who had a great defense both years, good running backs, good receivers. But he was an average quarterback who got hot at the right time. Because that's what the playoffs is. I mean, the Cowboys, like Dak Prescott to me is a little above average quarterback. So he's the kind of quarterback you can win a Super Bowl with if you have everything around him. So this idea that y'all got to just jump off quarterbacks so quick. And why am I getting into this? Because Todd McShay's mock draft is 5 quarterbacks in the top 10. So that's 5 teams that's automatically giving up on quarterbacks. Like, you got Eagles giving up on Jalen Hurts already. You talking about Arizona. You already got hearing rumors about Arizona trading Kyler Murray for Deshaun Stevenson. It's like dudes just giving up on quarterbacks the first year in the league, 1 year in the league, like, he ain't got it. On to the next, that's a recipe for disaster. You know what I'm saying? And then I still never get it how Heisman Trophy winners, they never get a lot of respect when it comes to the draft. Charlie Ward was a Heisman Trophy winner, wasn't even drafted. I mean, you got the Heisman Trophy winner from last year, Alabama, and they're just like downplaying him. Like, he's not really that good. Like, there's a tight end out there that they say is better than him, and Kyle Pitts or something. And then you got the receiver from LSU. I mean, a guy has the best receiver season, wins the Heisman, and it still ain't good enough. He still gotta, have four quarterbacks be picked over him, and only one or two of them jokers is gonna pan out, if that, you know. But yeah, man, this idea that you gotta just jump off quarterbacks just so quick. So I think teams are getting so desperate, man. They're getting very desperate with these quarterback situations. They're not thinking about all these other pieces that have to be in play as well. Because most teams that win Super Bowls usually have a decent running game for a short period of time. You got to have you not only got to have a quarterback that's a franchise quarterback, you need to have a good running back that's at his peak for a good 2 or 3 years. Like back to back Broncos when they had Terrell Davis, like 2,000-yard rushing season back to back. I mean, John Elway didn't win a Super Bowl until he had a running back that could do that. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of other things that go in place. A defense, Tampa Bay won with defense in the Super Bowl. They won with defense. It wasn't about offense. Like defense wins Super Bowls to me. It really does. I mean, I've seen Denver win it. Peyton Manning was an average quarterback when Denver won it last year. His gameplay was average. Average. Cam Newton was the superstar that year. Balling out. Like no other. And what happened in the Super Bowl, man? Defense conquered offense, and an average quarterback won the Super Bowl. Not saying Peyton was average his whole career. He was great, but he was an average quarterback at that time. His play was average, man. It was not that good, So we just recently seen a couple Super Bowls won with average quarterbacks. So this idea that you got to have this franchise Super Bowl winning quarterback, everybody, no. Sometimes you can win with a game manager, a guy who just doesn't make mistakes. You can win with a Alex Smith kind of player. You can. If you have enough pieces around him. You can win. I mean, even when, let's not forget when Alex Smith was at San Fran, they were pretty much going to they were pretty much balling out before he got hurt. And then old boy took over, Kaepernick took over and went to the Super Bowl and didn't win. And it really ain't balled out like that since then. Kaepernick got hot at the right time. That was the perfect time for him to win, but he didn't. And that's how it be sometimes, man. And then Alex Smith with the Chiefs. I mean, he was balling out of the Chiefs. They would go to playoffs every year. They won a division. But they ended up going with the younger quarterback who was balling out even more. And he took him over the hump. But it wasn't like, you couldn't win with Alex Smith. And let's not forget, I don't think Tyreek Hill was at the prime of his career when Alex Smith was there. But yeah, I don't know, man. This Todd McShay 5 quarterback thing, man. I'm just not sold on this. Like NFL teams just get so desperate about this quarterback position. There's a lot of other pieces that are just as important, man. I'm almost thinking that's the last piece to the puzzle to get. Focus on your defense and your running game and your receivers, and then draft the quarterback last. The best quarterback you could get drafted and pay him at a rookie salary and go for it. Like you did with Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. Like you did with Pat Mahomes at the Chiefs. Because what Pat Mahomes' money starts kicking in more, these bigger paying years, the rosters ain't going to be as good. Same thing with the Seattle roster. Now that Russell Wilson's making more money, roster's not as good. Once the quarterback starts making more money, rosters don't be as good because they can't afford to pay everybody else. Because just like Dak got his His what is it? 4 years, 160 million. 40 years, he wanted 45. He wasn't. He wanted Pat Mahomes money. Come on, man. You ain't Pat Mahomes, man. I understand you played for America's team. Dallas generates a lot of money, man. But you ain't Pat Mahomes, man. You ain't Aaron Rodgers. You ain't Tom Brady. I mean, you're not even Deshaun Watson. You know, you're not even. I don't even know that you're better than Josh Allen. You know, so let's pump the brakes here, Dak Prescott. I mean, you got your money, you know, but now you got to show us you can win. Because if you don't, you're gonna be getting dogged out on all the sports debate shows. You're gonna be getting dogged out. And you know me, I ain't no big Cowboys fan, so I'm a Stephen A. Smith, y'all. You don't win because you got your money now. You got your 40 million a year. What now? Hit that subscribe button at right hand corner, bottom right hand corner. Check us out every Wednesday. We drop these podcasts every Wednesday. Sometimes even twice a week. Tune in on YouTube, Facebook, fan page, our Instagram, TV. Also, the podcast is the audio format is available on Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Amazon, Slacker, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and several other platforms as well. You can Google Paul Pickett Podcast. You see in the background. Also, don't forget to check out the New Litter Apparel. NewLitter.com is one of the shirts right here. Let me stand up for you. All right, that's the Money Never Sleeps New Litter Apparel shirt. See, it matches the hat. Check it out, NewLitter.com. Also, check out my promotional company, PromoPalace.biz, PlanetPlaylist.com, IndieCastle.net. You can also follow me Twitter, Paul P. Podcast, Facebook, Paul Pickett Podcast, and Instagram, Promo Palace and Indie Castle. Once again, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Once again, I'm your host, Paul Pickett, and this was episode 17. 18 is on the way. I want to thank y'all for tuning in, and I'm out. Peace.